Welcome back to another week on my van build. For anyone new, this is my 2014 medium wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter that I'm converting slowly into a part-time camper van and part-time works van. This week I am hoping to get it ply lined. I've not just picked up ply though, I've actually gone for some 9mm OSB. If you remember last week I was umming and ahhing about getting a pre-cut ply lining kit because they are like a lot more accurate, a lot easier, it's going to save a lot of time. But I'm hoping to leave the ply exposed. I'm just not that keen on the look of just exposed hardwood ply. So I've actually gone for OSB. I've always wanted to make something out of OSB. I just love the texture of it, I love how it looks. It's not the easiest stuff to work with, to be fair. I think you've got to be a little bit careful because it can kind of chip apart. It's basically chipboard. OSB stands for oriented strand board. I think it's like a big chipboard, like big chunks of wood chip basically. But yeah, I just love how it looks. It's a lot cheaper than birch ply, which is going to be my other option. It's a lot less susceptible to staining and stuff compared to birch ply, and it's a bit more forgiving as well. You can hide kind of screw holes, dents and all sorts with it. A lot of people tend to line their vans for like a 6mm ply. This is 9mm, so it's a bit heavier, but not much heavier than a 6mm hardwood ply, which is good. Obviously weights pretty crucial on a build like this. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started. First things first, I need to rip one of these sheets down into strips. Probably gonna go 100mm by 9mm, and then probably every 400mm centers, something like that. I did cheat though, partly. I bought the door panels pre-cut because I'm gonna buy some storage things that are pre-made, like specifically designed for Sprinter doors. Some like pocket things for storage. These are going to be covered anyway, so it doesn't matter that they don't match. And the curves on the doors and window blanking places, very hard to do neatly. So just trying to cut these out neatly, and like that hole around the door handle, that'd take me hours. Because these are all cut with like a CNC. This is just way better than I could do. So money well spent, I think. Gonna go 80mm. So I'm going to start off in this back corner. It's going to be probably the most difficult piece because I need to scribe this kind of curve and these bits into the panel. Got this bit, got the window to cut out with that sheet and the wheel arch to contend with. So I'm going to get a batten up in here, and then the next one, if they're every 400mm, somewhere about there. Is 400mm too much? Maybe I'll go 600mm. That's only going to be 3. Basically the boards are 1200 wide, so I do them every 600, there'd be one on each end of the board and one in the middle. How does that look? Considering the panel's actually 9mm anyway, I think it'd be pretty sturdy. I don't know what the camera angle's like here. 600, so there'd be one almost in the middle of the window. I think that's plenty. So there's going to be a batten here on the end, one in the middle kind of split, one here which the next board will join onto as well. Go from there. I think it'd be 3 full sheets along here and a bit. And then I can do a full sheet here and then a slither on the end here. Also the boards I need to cut to length now. Probably just all keep them square where these roof beams are. Boards are going to be like 1.9 high. Cool. So the first batten, 1250 and a 580. 1250, 580, remember that. Go on. Oh. Why did the van build take so long, Joe? Because I'm trying to turn the light switch on with OSB. Oh, go on. There we go. I've forgotten how long it needs to be now. I need a pencil. Fixings wise, I've got some 4 by 25mm self-tapping screws. These are to go through the battens into the metal. And I've got a 3.5mm drill bits and 4mm screws. So because this is quite thin, you won't want to go much bigger than a 3.5. Probably get away with a 3 to be honest, because these screws will just create their own thread quite easily through sheet metal. If you're wondering why I wouldn't just screw like whole sheets up to here, as you can see there's so many gaps where a screw might just end up going into nothing. It's just so much easier to have battens up on the wall, and then you know exactly where these are to, because they'll be every 600mm, and then you can score a line down and you know each screw is just going to go lovely into a batten, in theory. No, me, I've already gone through the support bit, haven't I? Yeah. That's going to be really thick, so ignore that one. Oh. Even this isn't particularly easy, it's still a bit awkward, but a lot less awkward than trying to do it with a full sheet of fly. It's solid, but the screws sticking out a bit. So what I'll do is I'll countersink the next one's a bit more. I actually think I could probably go a smaller drill bit, to be honest. Might try a 3. It won't come out, it's not got enough meat to pull the head in the screw. Let's have a look for a 3. Try that. A lot better. 3mm it is. This out for a sec, because the next, if I go 600s or even if I go 400s, to be fair, in some places there's just nothing to screw in, especially where this window needs to be open. Ideally I want to put a batten somewhere here, but it's literally going to be connected here. There's not really anywhere at the top, so it'd be a piece just like this which could wobble about. Down below is not much better, so I'm going to go for the next one along, so it would be 6/12, which would be the full sheet where both 2 sheets will join, and that just about sits where there's wall to ceiling, that floor to ceiling, that I can, where there's floor to ceiling metal to screw into, so obviously be above the wheel arch, but I can go right the way up there, get that one in, and then what I'm probably going to do is a couple of horizontal battens, and I need to figure out how to frame these windows around too, so we'll move on to the next one and then come across. My camera battery died last night. This is how far I got. Definitely more complicated than I thought it was going to be, but it's important I get this stage right, so the ply line itself, when that goes on, is just as easy as possible. Just important to get this right, basically. I snapped the first drill bit of the job and I decided to call it a day after that. My camera battery died last night. This is how far I got. Definitely a bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be, but it's important to get this stage right so that when the ply line goes on, it's just as easy as it can be, if that makes any sense. Just want to get this stage right. Before I start today, shout out to Magic Mind, who have been supporting my channel for quite a while now. They make these great little mental performance shots. I think the main active ingredient is lion's mane mushroom. It's got something in called ashwagandha, which I don't know what it does, but it sounds cool. They've also got 100% of your daily vitamin C and D. Anyway, I don't know if you can remember, but I reached out to them earlier in the year asking for some help. I was struggling to focus on editing, which is one of the main parts of running the YouTube channel, is editing, unfortunately. I was definitely drinking far too much coffee, having awful caffeine crashes. But yeah, Magic Mind offered to send me a load of their shots just in exchange for an honest review. They asked me to drink a shot of Magic Mind every day for a week, and yeah, just report back on how I felt. And yeah, it went really well, felt way more focused. So now that I'm busier than ever, I'm running this channel, building my own works van, working on customers' vans and boats, relocating my own boat, getting my old van ready for sale. Safe to say I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, but thanks to Magic Mind, definitely finding my organisational skills a lot better. I think I mentioned last time I've been making lists and stuff and sticking to them, ticking things off. I spend a lot of time in front of a computer, editing videos, replying to emails, and I'm generally awful at procrastinating. And I tend to get a bit of a mental block. I've just been powering through after a Magic Mind. So if you're also battling this relentless thing they call adult life, give Magic Mind a try. I think if you use code OLDJOE20, you'll get 48% off your first subscription. I'll leave a link down in the description and pinned comment. Now time for some more splinters. So I'm just trying to figure out how to fix this piece. This is going to be where the next full sheet of ply or OSB finishes, and then the other piece, so it's going to overlap here by 40mm, and so is the other piece. But there's nowhere to really fix it unless I try and put a diagonal screw in, which I think is just going to split because this is only 9mm obviously. So I'm thinking of just gluing and clamping possibly. Actually, I don't know if I'll get a clamp in there. But yeah, just letting the glue go off, because then when this is basically to stop the two pieces flapping. So once each piece of OSB is screwed into this, it should be solid anyway. So I think I'm just going to put some glue in and leave that. But then I think that side's not far off finished in terms of battening, which is good. And I'll start on this side tomorrow. I only had a couple hours spare today, hence the short day. One more piece in here and I think that side's done. Typical. I'll go to 600. Let's be about there. I've got another half day on the van today, although it is very warm, not to complain. First things first though. I'm going to start with this end piece, full width, but I need to trim them down to I think 1.9 meters. And obviously I've got the window to cut out, which yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Sorry, the lighting's a bit difficult, but at the bottom I want this the full width sheet. So when I scribe, I want something that leaves, or basically meets this exactly. It's going to be quite hard to scribe actually because the wheel arch is in the way, so I can't push it right in. But then I need to take off the difference between that, whatever this slopes in by. So I'm just going to figure that out in my head, which might take a minute. Just drawn this line to cut out for the wheel arch, and that'd be easier to push the ply in and then scribe down the end. I think I've done it in the right place. I've had the sheet in and out a few times. I'm pretty happy with how it's fitting now. I've just put a couple of screws in to hold it in position with a clamp, and I'm going to poke a hole through. I've got the window open, and I'm going to put a core cutter through and then try and put some lines on to where, for where I'm going to cut the opening out. And then, yeah, eventually once the hole's in, I can probably line it with some more OSB and have like an architrave going around to hide the edge. It's going to be difficult to get perfect. I've also traced this piece in reverse for this side. I'm hoping that's going to work out right. These things are all very similar, like the awkward bits. They're all in the same place, so it should, fingers crossed, save me a bit of time tomorrow. See if I can find a shorter jigsaw blade, because that's quite close to the window. It's probably safer with a circular saw, actually. Maybe not safer for my limbs, but I just need to figure out how far down I want to bring it beneath the window so I can frame it properly. So a bit more messing about. Happy with the aperture. These 80mm strip side cut are almost perfect. They kind of sit in, and I'll line it with this. I'm just going to mark this where it's sat on that batten. I'm going to take this out, just give it a sand, stain it at some point. And I'll start cutting the next one ready to go against that line. I'm pretty happy with the second sheet, so I'm going to pull that out and sand and stain the backs and edges. Same with the other one I've cut, and then let them dry overnight, and then hopefully start screwing them in tomorrow. And then once those two are in, I'll cut the end panel and finish it off. Right, I'm back after a few days on the road. Went up to fit a solar panel for a previous customer, which was nice. So yeah, just bear with me a sec whilst I remember what I was doing here. Beanie's back out. It's actually a bit colder today. I thought it was retired for the summer, to be honest, but weather's completely dropped off. So yeah, these are up. I can't remember if I've shown this or not. But I've got these fitted after I stained them, which I'm really pleased with. Also there'll be a box going around the arches, and I'll insulate this as well. This piece to cut and stain first, so that's one side done. Then I'll probably figure out boxing this in, just to make sure that this aperture works before I go ahead and copy it on this side, if that makes sense. The ply lining for this piece and this top bit have arrived, which is good. I think I've said that I've got a window going in here eventually. But I think I'll start with that side, get this side done, make sure I'm happy, and then get the bulk of the ISB done and out of the way, because big sheets lingering around Dad's workshop's a bit of a pain. What did I do? Was I doing it yesterday? No, I wasn't. What did I do? I can't remember where I left you, but I've just been working this morning off camera, and I've got all of the ply lining in. This side is done, and obviously that one's all in anyway. Just been messing about trying to sort out some window linings for these. First attempt failed. It's very hard to try and keep them square, plus because it's an angled wall and there's a curve in it, trying to keep, I don't know how to describe it really, but when I put the pieces in individually, like, to sort of test it, it sits there. Then when you've made a box, it kind of sits more upright, so I'm kind of going to have to take a bit more off than I anticipated. Plus this stuff, when you start drilling into the ends, it just wants to split. So I think I'm going to get some maybe 9mm ply or 12mm ply or something, or some timber, and line them properly at a later date. I can tell I've been off camera all morning. I've tried to say a sentence about 6 times in a row now, and I can't quite get it out. But now that I've caught up a bit on the lining itself, that definitely took a bit longer than I anticipated, as with everything on a van build. I'm going to try the door lining kits now. I think these are just not very nice to look at, the insulation, is it? As good as it is, just not the prettiest. I think I'll probably seal it all first, be a sensible idea, especially the edges. That's where, if it's going to delaminate, that's where the moisture gets in. I think set up a little station, seal that. That stuff I've got dries quite quick anyway. Go from there. Okay. I've done fronts, backs, all around the edges. Now the hard part is just trying to find places to get screws to go in without hitting these big gaps. I'm half tempted just to stick this on to save screw holes. Let's try sticking it on. These ones I'll definitely have to screw, but they come with fittings anyway. And I could glue the top ones. As long as this ain't pushing out too much. Good idea, bad idea? I'm going to stick them. Don't stick these. Everyone, there's a reason. I swore far too much doing that. Definitely won't make the video, but
yeah, I got a bit carried away with the sealant there and ended up in a bit of a mess. But a combination of basically sealant or adhesive in the middle and then screw a few screws around the outside to stop it slipping seems to have worked. This one here, this panel, where a window would normally go, is the one that can fit in, so I'll try that next. Fitted, I guess. I'll probably run a bead of sealant around there, and if you remember me saying I'm going to get, they basically do some tool storage things that fit these exactly, so you won't actually see this plywood. Trust the process. Talking to myself, really. I'm really quite pleased with how this has turned out. Not bad at all. Obviously got some sanding to do to get rid of the pencil lines. A couple more layers of sealer. Need to frame the windows round. Make some boxes for the wheel arches, box those in. I've got the sliding door ply line in to do. That'll probably be next week. Well, it will be next week because I'm going to wrap this video up, but hopefully I can get that done next week. And then I've also got a solar panel ready to go, and the bed mechanism, which we're going to seal in. And then I can think about lining the ceiling. I've got a couple of ideas already. I've been looking at the sound panel. It's like a shadow gap. So a lot of vans, nice looking vans now, basically have like a layer of ply painted black and then some little thin strips of nice timber, which looks really nice. And I was thinking of doing that, but I also seen a product which is really light. It's great for sound insulation. And it's already done, all perfect straight lines, and it comes in like a, I can't remember what the sheet size is. I probably need 2 sheets, so I'm thinking of mounting that. That might be an option. The only thing is you can't really mount stuff to it because it's like a material rather than a ply, if that makes any sense. So I'm shattered, probably rambling. Once that's all done, I can start thinking about actually building my side unit and stuff for storage and sinks, cooker and all the rest of it, all the fun bits. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons. A huge thank you to Magic Mind for sponsoring this week's video. Don't forget to use my link, try it, see how you get on. I can genuinely vouch for it. And yeah, I'll see you next week.